Rev up your engines! Okay, finally I got my hands on an electric Ford pickup truck, the F-150 Lightning, and instead of the horse manure that people try to tell you about how great this is or blah, 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 this is a real guy. He was smart. He didn't buy the truck. He's leasing the truck. He's going to have it for a year. Then he says he's going to get rid of it. What is the truth about it? He's told me his experience, so we're going to go through it, use my machine, and tell you the truth about one of these electric pickups. As you can see with my gloves, it's cold outside, okay? In the summer, he can get 300 miles of range out of this thing if he's driving normal stop and go stuff. Now it's cold, normal driving, he's getting 210. You lose a lot of range. Now he doesn't have a house, so he can't get a 220 outlet. If he plugs in the 110 outlet into this thing, it takes 3 days, not hours, 3 days to charge it up. So normally he uses Electrify America. He'll put it up to 90% there, then he comes home and he'll plug it into 110 to get it up to 100%. And interestingly enough, he carries stuff in the bed mainly. And if he carries a couple thousand pounds of tiles or something for his work, he says it really doesn't affect the electric range. The range stays pretty much the same. But he doesn't really tow, because he said towing knocks the heck out of it. A pickup truck that you can't really tow with for long distances. There's a big negative point there. He's got 25,000 miles on it now, and he doesn't have any complaints about the vehicle. The only thing he really had done was he got the tires rotated, but that's a story in itself. He took it to the Ford dealer to get the tires rotated, and when he's driving home, he hears this whoop, 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 and the back wheel fell off because the brilliant mechanics at the Ford dealer didn't tighten the lug nuts, and it fell off. I know Ford has a lot of problems with quality control. They're number one the last 2 years as the most recalled vehicles on the planet, right? But in this case, I guess they should recall their mechanics too. They can't even rotate tires and put them on. They did have to give them another rim because it got all bashed up when it fell off. He's lucky it didn't scrape down and ruin the battery of the truck too. He didn't buy this thing. He's just leasing it. So in reality, they're not giving these things away by any stretch of the imagination. They got a bunch of them lying around. They thought they were going to sell zillions of them. Well, they haven't. They sold more this year than last year. They're not flying off the shelves to begin with, and in his case, he's going to get rid of it because he decided that, well, he probably made a mistake. He went with his friend, and his friend bought a hybrid Maverick, and now he's thinking, I should have bought a hybrid Maverick too. The only problem is Ford can't build the hybrid Mavericks fast enough because they have a supply chain problem with getting the hybrid stuff, and they're selling like hotcakes. These aren't, and a lot of that is because the Maverick is a totally redesigned small truck that gets phenomenal gas mileage and rides more like a car. And basically this thing is a Ford F-150 that's been electrified. Real truck guys want something they can tow, go a really long distance. They don't want something where they gotta hassle about charging it. He came here and he said if he would have driven here in a gasoline, it probably would have taken him 4.5 hours. Instead, he said it took him like 9-10 hours to do the same trip. It's just a giant annoyance, and people in pickup trucks don't want to be annoyed. They want convenience. They want something, mainly big truck like this, towing stuff. And they're no good for long distance towing. They can't go far enough because of the electric batteries, especially in the winter. I mean, look at all the range that he lost from 300 to 210 just because it got cold outside, right? And it's not all that cold now. Imagine if it's 15 degrees below, you're running the heater, you're not even going to get that. I mean, it looks like a Ford truck. It's not like a Toyota Prius where everybody's going to think he's some kind of tree hugger or something. It looks just like an F-150, except when you get inside and you see this gigantic screen. That is a big screen. Hey, this thing isn't messing around. Look at the size of that thing. Like any extended cab, hey, there's tons of room in this thing. It's set up like a regular vehicle. I'll give that to Ford. This doesn't look like a Tesla where there's crazy stuff all over the place. This gear shift knob looks just like a regular car. So let's look under the hood here. Oh, look. It opens itself. Isn't that convenient? But there's no engine. It's a frunk. Of course, because it's an electric truck. It's got a gigantic battery on the bottom. that powers the thing. It takes a while to charge it up. It made his trip 2.5 times as long, having to charge it up coming over here, and realized another thing about these electric vehicles. Sure, he's had no problems with this one at all yet. It's only got 25,000 miles on it. See all that junk in here? On top of there is the battery. A humongous battery. If you live up north, he's in Pennsylvania, I'm in Rhode Island here, right? They put salt up the wazoo on the roads in the winter. Eventually, enough salt and the slushy salt will get up and get in there, and it will corrode the electrical system. That's just the problem with all electric vehicles these days. Now, if you get a hybrid, like the Toyota Camry hybrid that I showed the other day, it wasn't a plug-in hybrid. That has a battery in the back, inside the vehicle. Salt water isn't gonna bother it, right? But if you have a fully electric car, almost every single plug-in hybrid, where you can plug them in and charge them too, and they can go 50, 60 miles on electricity and then revert to the gasoline engine, those hybrid plug-ins also have the battery on the bottom, and I see as they age, the salt gets in there and it destroys the electronics. Somebody told Elon Musk, why don't you seal all those batteries? You won't have any problems. Of course, it would cost too much money for him, so he's not doing it. There's the charge port. It plugs right in. I mean, they're simple enough to use. It's not rocket science. So it takes a tremendous amount of electricity to push this thing around. Doesn't matter how much aluminum and fiberglass they use. These are very heavy vehicles, and they are going to use a lot of electricity. He found out that what he spent on electricity driving down here, it would have been cheaper buying gasoline. They always said, oh, it's so much cheaper with electric vehicles. No, it isn't. Now, he uses Electrify America because he pays a $5 a month membership to use it. But if he went to some other fast charger when he's traveling, he said he has to pay almost twice. So let's say he bought $25 worth of electricity to get up to 90% with Electrify America. If he was using a different one, he says it often costs him over $50 to get the same amount of electricity. Realize there's no standardization of these things. They can charge whatever they want. It's not like there's 50 gas stations. This is too expensive. I'll go to another one. You looking here? No, there you are. And they sort of got you by the short and curlies, and they can charge you whatever they want for that electricity. Now, he wants to see what shape this thing's in, so I'm going to get my fancy computer out. Now, I got to say, at least, look, it's got an OBD port like a regular vehicle, unlike a Tesla. It's not a European Ford. We'll do a standalone diagnosis. You can see it's F-150 battery electric vehicle, 110 to 180 kilowatt hours. Okay. See, it's going to do a full topology scan of everything. Electric vehicles, you need a fancy computer. So while it's doing it, let's look inside. I mean, it's nice looking. It's a nice looking truck, right? Look at that. It's 100% already. It was that fast. Now, it's probably wacky things. Let's see what the codes are. There's 4 codes. Off-board charger controller. See, he was at a station that didn't work, and that's just, it remembers the code, so we'll erase that. You're going to get all kinds of wacky codes. He tried using one charging station and it wouldn't work. Supposedly Ford and Tesla have this deal to use the Tesla charging right. He tried it with an adapter. It didn't work, and that's probably why he got that code. Let's look at the other crowd here. Battery energy control module. See what the trouble code is. Hybrid EV battery voltage external isolation fault. That could easily have to do with when he plugged it in and it didn't work, so we're going to erase that too. So it's got a problem with the HVAC system, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Let's see what that code is. Circulation damper motor. Well, you don't want to tear this dash apart, but it gets cold. Sometimes those stick, so we'll erase that too. And the last one is headlight control module. We'll see what those trouble codes are. Right headlight swiveling motor didn't swivel right. Oh, maybe it got frozen with ice. Who knows? We'll erase that too. Gives you all kinds of information. Look at this. Hard braking hysteresis. 1 meter second A2. Look at some serious stuff here. Powertrain control module. Can be all kinds of information. You can see just even the loading it is taking a little time. And I gotta say, it's got one big screen. You want a large screen, there it is. But I like the idea, the screen's over here, but your driving information is here, like a regular vehicle. And here we go through some big amount of information here. He wanted to see what kind of shape the battery system was in, so you can see there's going to be an awful lot of information here. Because these are all things to check. module secondary faults, module faults, or clutch pedal. There's all kinds of things that this thing is continuously checking while you're driving down the road. Internal control module, secondary module fault, off chip watchdog, frequent reset, chip watchdog mutual interrogation. Well, these things are getting to be something else. We're going to whisk through it. You'll see. Here's the kind of information these things have. Look at this data. It's insane. Look at it. It just keeps going and going and going. That's how much data these things have. It will make anyone's head spin. Well, everything was totally normal. I mean, the thing's only got 25,392 miles on it. Well, the owner just told me an interesting thing before we take it for a spin. They can remotely shut this thing down if you don't make a payment. Now, they can't shut it down while you're driving, but once it's stopped, they can shut it down so you can't start it up. So don't think you're going to get one of these and not make any payments and drive down to Mexico, because they will turn you off. Now, we can't drive like maniacs because 107 miles an hour is it. It won't let you go any faster, so we won't be setting any speed records. I imagine if you really went faster, it would run out of electricity like no tomorrow. That is one heck of a backup camera. I mean, look at it. It is a nice camera, but it feels like a regular truck. It's not that crazy Tesla stuff with all these screens and buttons you got to push. It's something to be in an F-150. It's just quiet. I'm used to rattling F-150s. This thing is quiet. There's no arguing that. If you're going to a charging station, it's cold outside, while you're going, it will automatically by itself here warm up the battery. So if you don't know anything about charging electric cars, if the battery's cold, the charger has to charge the battery. First it has to warm it up before it charges it. Then it takes more time. So by this way, it pre-warms it up, and you won't spend quite as much time charging it back up. Well, this guy's out of the way, and we'll give it some gas. Whee! Yes, it does go, people. It goes a lot faster than a V8 Ford. Just realize if you drove this thing like I was driving it, you'll probably get about 75, 80 miles, and you will run out of electricity, because super acceleration wears batteries and motors out fast. They're great at lower speeds. We'll try the little acceleration again. Whee! Man, this thing goes. I gotta say, if I was driving it, I'd be charging it up most of the time, because I'd use all the power out. It is wicked fast. You want to pass somebody, step on the gas, and away you go, just like a roller coaster. Okay, so what do I think? It definitely is wicked fast. And as the owner said, the build quality of this thing is pretty good. Solid, doesn't rattle, right? Ford makes over 90% of their profit on the F-150s. On these, they're losing tons of money. They're probably losing something like $35,000 for every one that they sell, because Ford is not in the electric business. They're trying to get into the electric business. Maybe they should be more like Toyota and think about hybrid, because their Maverick hybrids are selling like hotcakes, right? If I were you and you're looking for a truck, I'd look at a Ford Maverick hybrid myself. As it stands, I mean, an interesting vehicle, there's no arguing that. But they're not selling that many of them. They have real serious range problems when it's cold versus it's hot outside, and of course, real range reduction if you're towing. And what do people buy F-150s for? Generally, towing heavy-duty things. It's got the power, but it doesn't have the range if you're really pulling serious things. It is wicked fast, right? You want to race people in pickup trucks, you're going to win, at least until you get to 107 miles an hour, right? For a practical work truck, you know, I'd look elsewhere. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.